Looks like we are getting set up and wanted to try something new for today. And that is to be able to share my screen as we're chatting because we're going to talk telehealth tips today. And I wanted to show you some of the things that the Re+active team has been doing. So welcome to Friday. I'm so glad it's Friday. So needing the weekend this week. My name is Julie Hirschberg. I am the owner of Re+active PT and Wellness in Los Angeles. It's a beautiful day today, actually. And every Friday, we've been hopping in here just to share what we're doing, what we're learning, and share the resources that we've gathered. And we're doing this even more with the current kind of craziness of COVID-19. And we're doing a lot of learning ourselves at Re+active. We're streaming all of our classes online all week long. We've got 19 different classes. We're looking at adding more actually, because we've got more people in classes than we ever had in person. We also went from doing 30 telehealth visits a week to 130 visits a week. And so today we're going to talk about a few tips and tricks that have helped us, our team at Re+active, do telehealth in the neuro world. So we're going to talk about three major things: tips for screen recording and sharing, tips for self-mobilization because we can't get in there and get our hands on, and tips for the technologically challenged. This is probably the biggest thing that comes up when people ask me questions about how we're doing telehealth is like, what about when they don't even have a smart device or an iPad or anything like that? So we're going to chat through three of those things. And the first thing that I want to talk about is setting up your own screen recording so then you can share your screen and analyze movement with the person in front of you. This has been really powerful. This is stuff that we do in the clinic all the time, right? But to do it in the telehealth setting. So there's a few ways that you can do it. And I'm going to link to a video that Brittany Kim from our team created with me. And she showed how to do this on the iPad, but I'm going to give you a couple other tips here. So you can set up your iPad to screen record, and then you can share that screen via Zoom with your person that you're doing telehealth with. Excuse me, it's like I have something in my throat. Excuse me, thank you. So you can do this on your iPad. You can also do it on the computer. So things that I have used and that I really love, and I'll put a link here for this, is Loom, L-O-O-M, kind of like Zoom, but with an L. And it's a really quick screen recording tool. And this would be another way to temporarily share your screen with somebody. So record what they're doing, share it back. You can share just a piece of it. Another thing, and this is really kind of silly, but simple, is I'll actually take my iPad, take my phone, record what we're doing, like literally on the screen, and share that back. And one of the ways that we do this is we use Switchback Health. It's an app. Actually, I'll show you what it looks like. Switchback Health, created by a great PT in the California area, Dave Townsend. It looks like this, the little orange S, and it's a HIPAA secure app where you can take videos and share them with your patient. So it's meant for a home exercise program, but I'll take videos of our screen and what we're doing on telehealth and send those to the patient right through the app. So that's been a really helpful way to be able to share home exercise programs, but also to share the movement analysis, provide feedback, and move through evaluation and treatment that way. So screen recording and sharing has been really great. So for our next tip, I actually want to share my screen here so that you can see what we have put together, this is the lovely Brittany Kim. She put together some tips of self-mobilization. And what's really nice is at Re+active, we're starting to create this library of things that we would use and share our screen with. So for example, if I was in a Zoom telehealth session, I would pull up her video here. I can then play it. So that I don't have to do an awkward demo and change my screen around. I don't know if you do a lot of this and forward and back. I know I do. So I can share my screen instead. And here she's showing an inferior glide using a bed sheet. And I can share this and have the person watch it and step through. So we have a few of these, by the way, under neuro telehealth tips. Here's that screen recording one that I just talked about. The inferior glide, we've got the snags, and this is really handy because she shows a way to do it one-handed too, which has been really helpful post-stroke. And then we also have an inferior glide. So again, I would then share my screen, talk through this while the person is watching the video. And then I can watch them do it. And then I can send them this video too. So then they have it at home. So I think that's really powerful for a home program, for also just being able to demonstrate things well within the telehealth setting, because that can be tricky. The demo part can be really tricky. Okay, so we talked about two things so far. We talked about the recording the screen, sharing the screen, self-mobilization tips. So by the way, I really just shared kind of how we use them, but boy, the self-mobilization has been really powerful as a replacement for being in person. And what I really love about it is that it puts the person in control. They have tools, they have techniques to self-manage. And I know I'm using a lot of self-mobilization these days when I'm on the computer more and my back is a little more stiff, my shoulders, my neck, etc. And I'm doing self-mobilization in between all of my telehealth sessions just to keep my pain levels low and my sanity a little higher. I don't know about all of you, but I need a little tiny break between my sessions. And the self-mobilizations have been really helpful. So self-mobilization tips. Third is when there's somebody who is challenged with technology. And I want to share with you what we've done. And I actually have a printout of it here, but I'll share my screen as well. So we've created a cheat sheet. And actually, Kiana from our admin team created this because she's really the one that's doing a lot of the walking through the steps with each person. And I'll share my screen again here so that my other tab here with YouTube is the how to Zoom that she created. So simple step-by-step with links and arrows and what it's going to look like on Zoom, what it will look like when it creates a password, how to join, how to set up the microphone and video, how to do it for our classes, because our classes are a little bit different. And what we found is when people go from being in the class to being in a one-on-one session, sometimes the settings are off. And so they have to be able to go between the two of those, and that can be kind of tricky. So the first thing I would tell you is to create that cheat sheet. And it's going to be different for every person. We use Zoom. We maybe have particular things that people are having more difficulty with in terms of getting on, and whether they're on an iPad or an iPhone. So creating that cheat sheet is really helpful. Setting up a practice session ahead of time is necessary. It's necessary in the neuro world, I think, and probably in the everybody world. It lowers stress for people. It makes it much more likely that they're going to be successful getting on for their actual session. So set up a practice session, have a backup plan. So, you know what? We've got a cheat sheet, we've got practice sessions, and there's still difficulty getting on. In fact, we'll get on successfully one week, and the very next week, it's hard to get on again. And we have to go back to our practice session and the cheat sheet again. This technology stuff is hard. So have a backup plan, have a phone number, have an emergency phone number, have another phone number in order to get in touch with them so that you can still, if worst case scenario, you can do a phone call, which would qualify for an e-visit under Medicare rules. But even having the patient have a backup plan with what are you going to use, your computer, tablet, etc., and then do you have a backup to whatever you're going to use. So that has been helpful in minimizing some of those barriers. And then finally, what I'm going to say is to keep trying. I can't even tell you how persistent my team has been, including our admin team, to assist people getting online, trying multiple times, follow-up phone calls, multiple practice sessions. I mean, honestly, this is what it takes, especially if we are working with somebody who is really overwhelmed. They might have a cognitive decline as well, and they need frequent repetition. So all of those things that come into our practice for those folks anyway, they apply to the technology. But I will tell you, the persistence pays off. We have been able to see people. We've been able to have some really great, fun, encouraging sessions with them. And so try again is what I'm going to say for that. And I do really think it will pay off. So that's what I'm going to share today. Very simply, screen recording and sharing, so powerful. Using self-mobilization, sharing your screen to do that, and some tips for the technology challenged. And catch us again next week. We're getting ready for our next mini course, which is on low back pain and camptocormia and Parkinson's. Both are things that are so common, and both can be really tricky to like dissect and peel away what came first, what caused this. And so Brittany, Kim, and I are putting together this mini course to look at it from that like ortho neuro. I just called it uro, by the way. So let's combine them, right? So look at both pieces and look at it from both sides. So I'm really excited about that. It's on May 21st. I hope you'll join us. That'll be online on Zoom, just like this. And I really look forward to seeing then. If not, I'll see you next Friday right here for our Facebook Live. Thanks so much for joining us, and have a great weekend, a restful weekend.